But this is why, like, I understand when I've had Haitian friends, Nigerian friends who get annoyed, like you, when they see these things being put on social media, like the black experience, because they are also black. That is not their experience. And culturally, definitely not their experience. And even for us that are black Americans, African Americans, whatever, our experiences again are not all the same. They're
I'm
not.
not like the black experience has to be their dad wasn't around. Well, my dad was around. He
My
was
dad
around.
was around, my parents were married.
Mine won't, and everybody thought they were. That's how much my daddy was around.
Hello, beautiful people and fellow whiners, and welcome to another episode of A Little Something, the number two. Wine About with your hostesses, Siobhan Camille,
Tay Michelle.
where sips get real and we wine while we whine about life, relationships, culture, and so much more over, of course, a glass of wine. It is fourth. Thank you. Yep. It's fourth Wednesday. So this one is for the culture. And yeah, y'all, it's a lot of myths about the Black experience going on around social media. So we're gonna talk about it.
Let's,
Okay. Okay.
let's talk about
So grab a glass of your favorite red, white, and Pinot de Agua and join us on the couch.
Hey y'all, hey. We're gonna jump right into the popping grapes experience before we talk about what's not really about what we really not a part of. Don't be including me and all that. I don't know what you're talking about. As a black person. The lies. As a black person. Sissy, let me know what your popping grapes is gonna be today. In this month
Ye-
of Pinot.
Yes. So for this Pinot May, I have a Pinot Blanc. I had to order this to get a
Oh,
Pinot Blanc. That's
oh,
how hard it is to find a Pinot Blanc. But
oh.
I have one. It is by Willem
Why your body look so
Elsace.
long?
I don't even know.
That joint
I
look
don't
long
know.
as a month.
It's a 2022. It is 13.5 ABV. So, we will see. And it is out of, I want to say, France. I can't really. It's imported by New York. That's cool. It says Monsieur something. So we just gonna say this is French. I will. Yep, Colmar, France. It's out of France. I was right, y'all. Yay for me. 10 points for Gryffindor. So that's what I'm. That's what I'm drinking today. Actually, I'm a Ravenclaw. So 10 points for Ravenclaw. Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay, I have Poppy.
Back to.
I,
Didn't you have a poppy before?
I don't know. I really don't know. I
That
know.
just sounds familiar.
I know. I saw it. It was like, oh, they got a Pinot. Grab it. Let's go. Like that's what I felt. I felt like Dora the Explorer. Come on, oh, you got a Pinot. Grab it. Let's go. Do 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 do. Like that's. I know that's not how the song go, but that's literally like for real what went through my brain
All
at
right.
the time that I purchased this. Um, it is a white wine, as Pinots are. It's a Pinot Grigio out of ported uh blah 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 product of Italy.
And Proted. I figured Pinot Grigios, I think, are all Italian. Although no, I guess they make Pinot Grigios in California. Hmm.
And this is 12% ABV. So, okay, so see, I'm gonna let you start, and I'll.
Well, you got to start because this started because you saw something
Oh,
and
you right. You right. You right. Okay, y'all. So, all right. So, like, all right. So, this is what happened, right? Y'all know how the algorithms be feeding you stuff. And once this guy got into office, all the algorithms, and I am saying it like that on purpose, all the algorithms started feeding me pro black, black spirits, black this, I'm black, I'm black, I'm black, 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 like all of it. And I was like, I mean, on the one hand, great. But on the other hand, why? 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 But fine. I consumed some of it. But I came across this one video where I believe it was a young lady. I can't remember the video fully, but the gist of the video was the black experience in black households, in black families, in black this, da 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 da. And she was listing probably about 4 or 5 different experiences. And as a all the way here black woman, I could identify with none of them. And some of them were honestly, I was like, what is who did that? Who experienced that? I couldn't even like associate someone that I knew with some of those experiences. You know, like people that are close to me. I'm like, well, I don't think we ain't never been through none of that. What black did I miss the black experience? I thought about it. It was like, you know, my husband makes fun of me because of the type of movies that I watch. Y'all know this. He told me I like white people movies, and that's fine. There's not as many black people movies out there. We know that too. Whatever. But yes, I like the white people movies because white people make movies that's about nothing, nothing, absolutely nothing. Like I don't know, the world's about to end, zombies and time travel, like just nothing. We don't typically make movies like that. Ours has got to be about the most dramatic love story in the
The
world. The
struggle.
struggle, getting, coming up, pulling yourself out the bootstraps, or it's a history esque document where which I am extremely proud of those things like Coach Carter and Remember the Titan. I love those movies, but that's not all I want us to. That's not all. Or it's the hood shit. Like the
Yep.
Fridays. And if you ain't seen Friday and you're not black, we got that episode from way, 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 way back. But like, why that's not all of the black experience. And then I came across a video recently, and the young lady was saying how she felt she was breaking generational curses. And the fact that that was another thing I had an issue with. The fact that the black experience is more often than not associated with generational curses is a
And
problem.
struggles.
Is no generate bump the struggle
Oh,
like generational curses. Everybody always think, "Oh, I'm breaking this generational curse. I'm breaking this," and it's quote unquote what most people will say is the black experience. Stop that. Stop making our experience a curse. Because not all our experiences are curses. Not all of our experiences are struggles. Stop making it seem like we ain't never happy. Stop making it seem like we're not never successful. But then we have all these successful stories that you want to brag about during Black History Month. But the only thing outside of that you want to talk about is how the struggle is real. Stop that shit. Stop that shit.
mm.
That annoys the hell out of me. So anyway, she was saying that was my sidebar. I didn't mean to get off topic.
I mean, I was here for it. I was 3 snaps since Z formation. I
But she was saying her daughter. She was talking to her daughter, and um, a conversation amongst her friends came up about or people, her peers came up about Section 8. So her mom was telling she went back and asked her mom like, "Well, where is Section 8?" And her mom laughed. She's like, "What do you mean?" And she was just like, "Well," she's like, "Well, people on Section 8, this and that." She was like, "But where is it? Like, how can you locate it?" And so the mom laughed but she also felt good about the fact that her daughter didn't realize that Section 8 was a program for government housing
assistance.
and
Hmm.
assistance and things like that. What? So she felt like she was breaking generational curses in reference to that. Like she was like, okay, my daughter don't even know what that is. So on that note, a part of me was happy, was proud to see that. No, but that's a lot of people. A lot of people didn't know what Section 8
But
was.
that was my thing too. Like when, yes, and like to that point, and let me just touch real quick on two of the best points that you've made to me thus far. Number one is why is the experience always a struggle? And we had a whole episode called "Not Black Enough" from like 2 3 years ago, and my statements and feelings on that still stay the same to this day. I don't change them, and I find it fucked up and interesting how so many of us talk about we got to do better, we got to get better, black excellence, all this stuff. But then when someone is that, or when somebody's generational curse has been broken, suddenly it's, oh, you're not black anymore. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You cannot praise the hood and the ghetto and the poverty experience
and then look down on
while
everything.
saying you're aspiring to be keeping up with the Joneses, and then tell the Joneses that they're not black because they're not in poverty in the ghetto in the hood. Like, it doesn't work. And I can say that because my experience to this one about Section 8, I did not know what Section 8 was until what would be considered quote unquote late, I guess. I didn't know what WIC was until like middle school. And that was only because my best friend's sister at the time, who was like 20, was on it. And so when WIC came up, I was like, I don't know what that is.
Same. That's what happened with me. My mom, I had my son, and my parents were very, very adamant that I was not going to go back to work until my son turned 2. I told them, y'all lost your mind, I need to make money. They said, no, we have not lost our minds, but that's what you're going to do. I was like, what the heck? So, again, not the normal black experience. Most parents don't do that. When you are pregnant at 20, your parent go, baby, you gonna have to get
Good
some
luck.
money and some funds coming in here because you got to feed that baby. That wasn't my experience. My experience was, no, you gonna stay home for these 2 years. You're gonna raise your son. You're gonna be okay. This is that and the other. Like we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. And my mom said, push come to shove, you'll go get WIC and temporary assistance. And I was like, now I knew what the temporary assistant was because that's who my mother works for. Ta-da!
Right.
I had no idea what WIC was. So I said, what is WIC? She said, baby, WIC is the program where, women, infant, and children. And she like really explained it to me. And I was like, they have that for real? So my ignorant self, well, then why people talking about the cost of milk if you could go get it for free? Like, what's the problem? Like it didn't correlate that there were qualifications and things like that. And I was like, well, hell, especially if they saying that most of us black women, well, most of us are single parents anyway, everybody should be on WIC. Like, when I say I had no idea, so again, my mom broke it down to me, but I didn't know what that was. It was another program.
I will just say to WIC real quick, my experience with WIC, again, I was 12 or 13, and
Girl, I was 20.
my best friend's sister was 20 and had it. That was the only reason I knew about it. But because again, and it still wasn't so built into my personal culture that I remembered. Because let me tell you, racism is a funny thing. But let me tell you, I went to the grocery store. I remember being in college, like 20 years old, in college, sweatpants, went to the grocery store because my mom was like, Siobhan, go to the grocery store and get me some deli cheese that, that they got to slice and all that because she got to be particular. She bougie too. And so I went and it's this white and it was this one white lady and I have not seen her and she definitely was prejudiced, okay? Because it wasn't just me, she'd also done this to my mother and she'd done it to me a couple times. But the first time that she did it, it was so funny because I went and I was like, "Can I get a pound of white American?" And she was like, "Is this for WIC?" My mind paused, y'all. Like this was literally the conversation. Is this for WIC? What the hell is WIC? This is me in my mind. What the hell is WIC? What the fuck is she talking about? What? I've heard this. You've heard this before. I know what this is. I know what this is. Wait a minute. WIC. I know what this is. Oh, Faith. I got it. WIC. Women Infertility. I was like, no. She was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, no, it's not. And I get it because I was like, yo, I paused for a minute. I was like, yeah, no. And she was like, because if it is, it has to be exactly a pound. I said, okay, but
Okay.
no. She was like, are you sure? And I was just like, part of me wanted to be like, bitch, I don't qualify. It's women, infants, and children. I do not have an infant nor a child. So unless there's I don't qualify. I don't, unless there's a women's, no. And again, like, and it wasn't even because I'd come behind white women who were like my age or slightly younger, slightly older, and she never asked any of them, but she would ask like, and I watched her a couple times too with other people. And basically, if you were black, apparently you automatically had to be on WIC in her mind,
I
like
promise you, I
whatever.
didn't know. And
Right.
then when I found out what it was, and I found out how you had to go shopping for, I said, "Oh, this is ridiculous. Who wants to go through this?" Like, oh my God, it got to be Jesus. I felt like I was doing research in the grocery store. But
It's so many restrictions. Yeah.
I also I appreciated, I understood what it was, but
Yeah.
I appreciated it because it also it's humbling because it makes you think of literally the people who don't have it, the people who really, really rely on
Need
it.
it. Yeah.
And it made me think if my parents weren't here, this would be, you know what I'm saying? Like if I didn't have anything stable, if it wasn't for my mom working in the department that she worked in, I wouldn't know. Again, I didn't know nothing about this until it was needed. So I felt for those, bye baby. I felt for those in those types of positions, you know, and I understood it. But then it also pissed me off when you find out people who abuse it. Like I was Tana been on it. What is it? Food stamps, been on it. Make too much money now. The government, that's not happening. You know, so I
But see,
understand.
I haven't, and I've been on none of those things because I don't qualify. That's a whole nother one for another time. But I'm saying that for the fact of like, you are black, I am black, our experience is not the same. So if I was gonna sit up here and say on somebody's social media, the black experience of X, Y, and Z, it would be what? And by the same token, if you were like, yeah, the black experience of this, that, and the third, I'd be like, that
I
ain't
don't
mine.
have that.
So we need to, I agree with you. The thing is, people need to stop classifying stuff as this general black experience, woman experience, white experience. Talk about your experience. Talk
That's
about
it.
you.
Keep it here. Keep it in your personal space. Keep it in your personal space. And for our culture, I need for us to realize the black experience is the life experience. Period. The black experience is the life experience. Does that mean we have not had it harder than others? No. We can recognize that and also still say the black experience is a life experience because some of those other races have had to do things that we have not as well. You know, they brought us over here. We got people that's literally fighting to get into this country.
True.
So again, life experience. But you won't or you shouldn't hear us say anything about that for real. So almost because if they come and talk to you about that, unless you are immigrant from a whole different nationality, nation, whole like you don't know that. The typical black American experience. What do I say? You don't know. Y'all, I've been bit up by mosquitoes, so I'm a little uh
It's
anxious
springtime out
today.
here. I done killed two ants and a spider. Like,
So um but that's what I'm saying. And but I laughed and I chuckled at the lady because she was like she felt proud because her daughter was so serious. Mom, but what section is it in? Like where can we? I was like, that baby's so serious. I said, take her to the projects. Let her see what it like. Explain
but even with that, right? Because both of my parents grew up, because again, 60s,
country.
different time for black people.
Country is it.
Um my mama grew up in New York, but she grew up in the projects until she was like 12, I think. And they were never on government assistance, but she was surrounded by people who were.
You were
So, but her experience, and again, this is why I say, what do you want? Speaking of fucking ants, but this is why I say, what do you want? Because my mother went through poverty because her parents did no choice of their own. They were black that moved from the south to the north and had to start over. And my dad grew up lower income as well, and both of them went through science and technology and got degrees, went to an Ivy League, da 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 da, and had me their daughter. And I just remember growing up, my experience as a black child, black female, was, oh, you're not black enough because my parents made too much money. But isn't that the point?
oh
To do
again
better so that
to do
every
better so that
generation
everything gets
elevates.
better.
Y'all so quick
Yeah,
to talk about Tulsa and Black Wall Street, but would you even appreciate those people today? For real?
for real. For how are you appreciating those people today? How? Not just by talking about them and making us knowledgeable, but have you tried to find out their knowledge and apply it? And if so, Why do you call the person who has applied it and made it out the Uncle Tom? What? What?
Or not black
Or
enough, or their experience is somehow invalidated.
yeah, like you like what? Hold on, no, you can't like stop. Let's. I we need to stop that. That's one. Yeah. So that's long story short. That's what this episode came from. That's and it just it triggered a thought in me. It triggered emotions in me that I was like, well, wait a minute. Like I lived in DC. I lived on Minnesota Avenue, right down the street from Anna de Costia, okay, High School and Park. I could walk there, but our the front part of our block, you wouldn't have thought was Southeast DC, Minnesota Avenue, because the stuff that that's known for or popular or
Infamous
talked
for.
about most,
Mm.
we didn't experience that. In fact, we were protected. And if anybody saw any of that stuff trying to creep around to where we were, they would skirt pause. No, we're not going around there. No, we're not doing that there. We were protected. I said we I didn't have that experience. I had some, to traditional things. Like everybody had them ugly ass glasses that looked like the diamond thing going, but it was. I had that. I had the glass table with the thing and the black and the gold and the chairs. Yeah, that. Yeah, we had that.
But some of those things I feel like, but see, that's the difference between a cultural experience and a racial experience.
Right.
And we need to acknowledge the difference. Because the other thing to your point about us being brought here, that is us, we the descendants of the slaves. Because please understand that there are to this day Haitian immigrants, Jamaican
Plenty,
immigrants,
plenty,
Nigerian immigrants, Ghanaian
plenty,
immigrants. It's
plenty.
black immigrants in here too.
Yes, absolutely. And their experience as a black person or that nationality of that
That
version of a black
nationality, yeah,
person is different.
is different. Exactly.
And well, I guess there's some things that go with that too. But whatever. It's just different. We're not gonna touch that. It's different. And I
And so
sometimes
you can't say, but this is why, and I know a lot of them get annoyed when people say the black experience, because what you're saying is the black American experience, which again you still shouldn't, because that's a whole,
that's a whole
it's not monolithic either. But this is why, like, I understand when I've had Haitian friends, Nigerian friends who get annoyed, like you, when they see these things being put on social media, like the black experience, because they are also black. That is not their experience. And culturally, definitely not their experience. And even for us that are black Americans, African Americans, whatever, our experiences again are not all the same. They're
I'm
not.
not like the black experience has to be their dad wasn't around. Well, my dad was around. He
My
was
dad was
around.
around, my parents were married.
Mine won't, and everybody thought they were. That's how much my daddy was around. So when they got married, I told y'all this before. Everybody was trying to figure out they weren't already married. What happened? Like, wait, what did they miss? Because my daddy was there. I didn't have that. My daddy was at talent shows. My daddy was at school plays. My daddy was at award ceremonies. My daddy was at parent teacher conferences. My daddy was there. He was at competitions. My daddy was at drove and picked me up from practices. My daddy was there. What are y'all talking about? That's
And
not
to
my
that
experience.
point, and
And
to
that's
that
him
point,
being there while dealing with another woman. Okay? So
but
let's
but
not.
and to that but to that point about fathers, right? Because that's like the easiest one to do, right? People always try to make it seem like the black experience is the ass and dad. Not and they make it seem like this generation is breaking some big whatever and more whatever. And perhaps they are. I don't know the numbers, but this is I say that for this because you and I know our fathers were involved. I know a bunch of people whose fathers were involved. I can think of right now four people I knew growing up, 4 or 5 people I knew growing up who were actually raised by their fathers. Their mothers were in whole different states. They were raised by their mothers. I mean, by their fathers,
Mm,
boys and girls. It's not
mm,
like just
yeah,
sons.
just
No,
one.
I knew
Yeah.
fathers who were single fathers with their daughters as well as their sons. So I'm saying that because even if people say, oh, well, the majority of, oh, well, 70%, oh, well, 60%, can we stop ignoring the 30% and the 40 that's not their experience and acting like that's not valid or acting like it
Or it
doesn't
doesn't
exist?
exist. Like, stop acting like that. It does exist. If you talking 100% and you telling me 70, nigga, that's not 70, ain't 100. The
70 is
same
not
thing
100.
I tell my kids in reference to their grade. Oh, I got a this. Yeah, but that's not 100. What you mean? No, I know. Okay, you got 75, but what about the other 25? Like, what happened there? Because that's my question. Okay, cool. You didn't fail, but let's see what you got wrong. Let's see what's missing. Like, what? We're not going to negate.
Right, yeah.
We're not going to negate what you got wrong. We're going to be okay, cool with what you got right, but let's address what you got wrong so that the
Because
next time.
even with that though, right? So we talking like 60, 70% of people 60, 70%, 60% is failing in school, and 70% is like a D. So y'all really making these big ass things about black people or cultural stuff or whatever off a D level shit.
Why? Why? Is that our standard? And if that's going to be the standard, the baby, I'm glad to be in the other. I'm glad some. I'm even
I'm
more
a
happy to
hundred
be in the
percent
other
not.
percent.
But I
Okay.
will say this, and this is an aside. This is the I warn of the digression right now. I'm gonna say this. What a trigger is and irritating and shit for me is everybody quick to be like, oh, the majority, but the majority when it serves their purpose. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna say this like this because I keep hearing a lot of stuff, and it's my age. It's my age. I keep hearing a lot of stuff about women over 35 and fertility, right? Geriatric pregnancy, advanced maternal age, all this stuff, and how, oh my God, it increases the risk of autism and this disease and this and this and this and this. So I actually did what I do and who I am, and I went and researched it. I went and looked it up. I looked up the actual numbers. And while, yes, from going from your 20s or 25 to 34, you may have whatever. And then when people talk about it, they're like, oh, well, if you have a kid in your 30s, there's a 200% more chance of you having a kid with X, Y, and Z. Oh, it is. It's not a shake head. No, it's 200%. But see, here's the thing with percentages. Percentages can be manipulated because y'all, if you start with a penny and I tell you I'm gonna give you a 200% increase, I just gave you $2. Are you that thrilled about $2? No, because it sounds bad though if I'm like, yo, I'm gonna give you $2, right? But if I say, yo, I'm gonna give you a 200% increase next week, you went from a penny to $2. Do you feel special? And that's what it is with a lot of these things. That's what it is with a lot of the geriatric, the problems and stuff and the autism rates that can come with geriatric pregnancy. Because I looked up all of the stuff, none of them are above like 12%. None
And
of
that's
them.
why I shake my head no.
None of the risks are above
That's
12%.
why
Yes, they are higher.
they are.
They are
That's my
higher.
point. They are higher, and that does. I'm not negating the risk, the increase of the
The
risk.
increase, right.
It is just not what a lot of people like to pour into and focus on, because it's like, now with all that said and done, if that's the case, because especially our generation and below, it was teen pregnancy, it was pregnancy in your 20s, it was that. Why all these kids right now, well, not all of them, but why is that the thing right now in school? We got so many autistic or ADHD or ADD or X, Y, and Z. They want geriatric pregnancies.
Yeah, true.
So, like, let's bring it down and think when we talk about that. That's why I say yes. Does the risk increase? Absolutely. Older
But y'all
or,
are making it
but
seem
it's
like that
not
increase.
to the extent that you
Exactly.
had. That's one. Two. Think about. I know people like to make it seem like within the last 20 years, being pregnant over 40 or 50 is
Well, not
new.
50. Don't do 50. Please don't do 50.
It is new. It's not. There.
It's definitely not.
It's not new. It's
No.
not new. You know how, and there are people who like, yeah, my mom was 47 when she had me. My mom was 42 when she had me. My mom was, Yeah, 45 was she happy? Like, what?
While again, and this is the thing, because we talk about, people like to talk about the increased risks associated with pregnancy as you age. Absolutely. But my thing is this, the increased risk, let's do this. Your kid come home from school and is like, I got a better grade on this test than the last one. The last test they got a 62. This one they got a 71. You happy? It's
Like,
still an increase. I mean, Or let's even do this. The
okay,
last
depending on the child.
Well, but you know what I'm saying? But let's be serious. Like that's the thing. Or even if, okay, well, I got a higher grade. Yeah, you went from a 42 to a 59, but you still
You
failing.
still failing. Okay, now
Like,
that is a no. Like, I'm not
but
okay.
that's what
You're
I'm saying.
wonderful. You got more points when we start to do some averages, but you're still failing,
But
baby.
you're still feeling. So my thing is this, like when people talk about the increase or the 200% increase or whatever, and it's not just about geriatric pregnancy, and I'm mentioning that because trigger, but it's about all types of things, right? Because they always tell you it's more of this, it's more of the more or less, and all that other stuff is superlative. It's all comparative.
And then who you comparing it to?
And this is the other thing, to your point about people really act like, again, it's and I realize it's a rise in women in the average age of a first pregnancy is rising. It's at like 30 now. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like 20 something at one point. But part of
Yeah.
that is, who the fuck can afford kids? That's number one. The other part is, who can raise them? Because
Who wants to
y'all
raise them in this economy where y'all don't even want to?
y'all don't even want to pay. First of all, and in the US, your maternity leave sucks. So what the fuck? But my thing is with that is like, y'all, we
Y'all
got
really
like
trying
just
to let these kids identify as cats, dogs, mouse, and chicken. What? Let's like, come on. Who wants to raise somebody in it? For real? Why do I want to have this precious thing, put them in school where the person beside them thinks that they're a fraud?
Yeah, worse than that to me is why, or their teacher is now teaching them about masturbation at the age of 6.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
So that's my digressive rant right there. Just because when we talk about percentages and the amounts of things, it needs to be put into perspective.
Perspective. I'm gonna say, let's keep y'all. If y'all don't learn anything else from us, that is one thing that we preach regularly on here: keeping things into perspective. Yes, we are not saying that everything that's labeled a black experience does not we can't relate to or we can't identify with. We're not saying that, but we are saying let's not forget about the other experience. Like growing up, again, my mama didn't do cups. I was raised on glass.
So was I.
My friends would come over. My mom was very I like to say traditional. Maybe she won't. I don't know. Maybe this was the bougie. I don't know. My mom set her table. My mom had placemats. We had cloth napkins. We now again, I told y'all we was on Minnesota Avenue. So when they came through our house, we walked through the dining room, and our little friends would be like, "Who y'all having over? What? What's going on here? Like, oh, y'all doing something fancy?" And we are literally looking at them like, "What are you talking about? It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. That's like we set the table. Like when we clean up, we gotta reset the table. What you mean? Like that's just who we were. That was just what my mother expected. That was my black experience. Later
Yep.
on, I found out that that was extremely Caucasian, and I was like, but my mama's friends set their tables. Like when we went to my mom's friend's house, their tables were literally set. Maybe
And
different
the
decoration.
other thing, but I'm gonna say
What?
this. I don't understand why that's got to be considered. See, this is the issue I also have with a lot of us is, oh my god, these kids. Everything has to be, if it's not black, it's Caucasian. My thing is, but why can't it just be a state of excellence? Because for example, it's a lot of black non-Americans who do the same thing, who set the table, who wear certain things, who will not allow for certain things, who push certain things.
Who make
Like
you
that's
go
the
and
other
wash
issue.
your body and change your clothes because you just been outside and you will not sit at the table with your outside clothes on when we get ready to eat.
Right. You got who actually value education, right? You're not gonna go outside until your homework is done. I expect you to speak properly. I expect you to learn proper grammar. I expect you to comport yourself in a certain way. I don't expect you to be out here. Hey, yeah, I don't. We don't
I
do
expect
that.
you to sit up. I expect you to cross your. I was taught you have on a skirt, cross your ankle, cross your feet, cross your legs at your ankles. Okay. Oh my God, that's so this, that's so. Well, actually, well, that's uncomfortable. How you cross your feet without thinking about it? What do you mean it's uncomfortable? Like what? Or oh, I was taught how I thought it was regular to have more a salad fork, a
Mm.
dinner fork. I thought that was regular. So, but see, my mom and my dad both had, I found out as I got older, the mentality of if you go or you get invited to a business dinner or you get invited to some of these other places, I don't want you to walk in there like you ain't never experienced nothing before. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you should know how to conduct yourself.
That's
It's
my
one
thing.
thing to not know because you weren't genuinely exposed to it. You didn't
Right.
have that opportunity, and now this is new. But my parents were. We are able to show you. We are able to teach you, and that's what we're doing. So this is what we expect of you. So this is your norm. Your norm is not out. Where they had to learn it. It was normal for us.
It's a part of code switching. And this is my thing. Considering black people like to scream that they the queens and kings of code switching and we can be here and there and chameleon lifestyle. You can't chameleon lifestyle if you don't learn the different colors. You know what I mean? Like you can't do that if you're not here, there, and everywhere. I learned how to set that thing up, but I learned that because I was working at wait staff and we did formal dining banquet setups. And actually I think I learned it before then. I learned it before then because I think I went to some place where it was set up like that. And I remember looking at my mom like, why is there so many? She was like, start from the outside, go in. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think I was like 9 and she was like, oh, it's one of those. And I was like, I don't understand. And then I learned to set it up when I worked in a banquet hall essentially
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it was a requirement. Like they gave you a
Mm-hmm.
class on that formal setup. And so I can code switch and I can do all of these things. But that's the other back to what
Come
back
on.
to what is you can't you have to pick a side and the side has to be consistent. You can't sit up here and praise black excellence then diminish and dismiss black excellence. You can't sit up here and say, oh, we need to be better, and then when somebody is better, denigrate them for being better. You cannot sit up here and say we got to get out the ghetto and then talk shit about the person who's living, I won't even say in a mansion, who's just living in a single family. You can't say we need to have a better family structure and then make fun of the kid whose parents are married. You can't sit up here and be like, we need to stop having teen pregnancies and this, that, and the third, and then get mad when women are pushing having children until later. Like, y'all,
What we doing? What
what we
we doing?
doing?
What are we doing?
What we doing?
What we doing?
What
What we
we
doing?
doing?
Like, and that's legit just what it is. Like, and I understand the people are people, and we feel one way, we feel the other, and I get feelings change, and I get some people that I get all of that, but for the regular, regular, schmegular people like us, we get tired of hearing it. We get tired of hearing that we
The
get tired
black
of
experience is
the black
struggle. That's what I'm
experience.
tired of hearing.
It's yeah, I am too. I'm tired of hearing that. Yes, y'all, but guess what? White people struggle too. Believe it or not, statistically, public assistance, Section 8, all that stuff was developed for white people.
It's more of them on it.
And that's the other part. But come on, y'all. That's why a lot of them jokers mad right now and they president. Okay? But again, and even with that, how the people who I have heard, the black people who are now saying, oh yeah, they're gonna mess around, fuck around and find out, right? Why so many other people are, oh, well, what this is that and the other? Why y'all whining? Why y'all whining? Like, if they gonna fuck around and find out, then let them fuck around and find out. Why we complain? This dead season. Why we complain? What are we doing? What are we doing? We're supposed to be minding our business and stepping on fans. Remember? All that. So why we complaining?
I learned that in Morocco too. I saw this girl did a tutorial. I saw, oh, that's the dance. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't be on social media like that. So like I didn't know that. I didn't know. I heard of the fan. I've seen it one time, but she was giving a we step and we step. I haven't done it in like 3 weeks, and I only did it like twice. So I don't know. Like I think I need like a weekly tutorial to keep it up. But yeah, man, I'm snap. I can snap at the end. I
First
got
of
the end.
all, it's not a hard dance.
It's not.
The cha-cha slide is harder than that dance. Okay? And the cha-cha slide, you following directions.
It's just a matter of I only did it twice, and like I don't like have the song. You know, I don't have.
Well,
I
no,
need to
I
practice.
get
Like
that. So I understand what you're saying, but I try like to the point where people are like, "Oh, Michelle, you're not doing dance." No, I don't want to. It's too simple. And give me something else.
that's
Give
because
me
you want
something
Paula
else.
Abdul
That's
choreography,
right.
Laker
Make
girl.
it fancy. Spin around two different directions. Turn and slap it twice. What you do? Hold up. Rewind it back. Cause I can like that's what I want. That's why I like hold downs.
Oh my god.
A real one. With the Caucasians. Okay? Give me a couple
Listen,
knee
that what
slaps.
is it? The what? I used
Uh
to, and they used to play this
a
all
couple
the
of knee
time in high
snaps
school.
and a hee haw. I'm there for it. Okay?
No, it was the. I'm not gonna be able to think about it, but it's one that they and we did it in high school. I went to a white high school. It was great, and I can't remember what it was, but it was like one of
Y'all,
my
the
favorites.
chicken dance was my
I like the
shit.
chicken dance. I like the chicken dance.
And that's simple as hell. That was my shit. Okay. Oh, and again, I went to a black school.
Listen,
We did the chicken dance.
listen. We did the chicken dance. We did the chicken dance in
We
my
did
black
the
middle
chicken
school.
dance, the hokey pokey, the electric slide.
Yep. We did the locomotion. I love that.
Come on, baby. What you talking about? Okay. Okay. So I'm just saying, just my last note, then Siobhan, I'll let you give yours, is don't limit my black experience to yours.
Amen.
That's all I got to say. And just because my black experience isn't your black experience does not make me any less or you any less of a black person. That other side matters.
That's I think my biggest thing is keep everything in perspective and stop believing every number that you hear because please understand that statistics are manipulated.
Constant.
Period. Constantly, consistently, all of the time. Think for yourself and think deeper and think bigger
Think deeper.
because again, somebody's going to sit here and tell you, "Oh, it's a 500% increase." It went from $1 to 5, y'all. Or it went from $1 to 50. It went from 1 penny to $5. Yes. Can you pay your bill with that $5 though? Oh, okay. So keep things in perspective and stop complaining when you get the outcomes that you claim you want.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. On that note, oh, I'm going to say cheers to that. Because, baby, clock it, all of that. Wow. Yup. And we won't hear nothing else after that. That's it. Oh, you smashing or passing this grape here, okay? Ooh, ooh. I need my fan. Okay.
Y'all, I'm gonna get a fan just to have on the side. Listen. Y'all gonna catch me in what we about to be in June. June, that's I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna have my fan for June. I promise you. I promise you.
Now, remember when I
Um,
was talking about my damn church fan when we first started this shit? I don't want to hear
you did.
nobody say nothing. I am the reason for the fans. I'm just kidding.
Oh Lord.
Okay,
So
no.
this is 2022 Pinot Blanc by Willem out of France. It is 13.5 ABV. Um, it's a light smash. It gives me it's dry. It's got some acidity to it. Um, I rate things by how close they are to Gewürztraminer. And because this is that to me, but it's heavier. It's slightly
Oh,
heavier
okay.
and like more citrusy, I guess. On the back, this just says the character of Willem Wines comes from an old tradition, born in Bar in 1896. Good for y'all. And still perpetuated with passion, supple and fruity, with great floral notes. I think that's what it is. The Pinot Blanc goes well with seafood and sushi, pies, and salads. Tasting temperature 8 to 10 degrees Celsius. They ain't playing. They telling you how to do this. I can definitely see it with seafood. I don't know if I would do it with sushi. I feel like that's not going to be a good combination on my stomach.
Maybe the type, depending on the type.
It could be. I think if you're gonna do it, then it's gonna be like a California roll
Hmm.
or a tuna roll
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe a tuna roll. Hmm.
or something like that. Like, but I lean toward unagi and shrimp and crab. And no, I wouldn't do this. Maybe a crab, but a shrimp and a eel, no. Um, I can see this with pasta though.
Okay.
But I'm
I
just starting to think that Pinot, like Pinot Blanc, Pinot Grigio, Pinot Gris, are good with seafood
pastas,
and pastas. Yeah.
light salads, and things like that.
Mm.
Yeah, I get it. I'm gonna smash this. This was pleasant. This definitely it gives me traditional Pinot, but not full body. Is this full body? It can't
Mm.
be full body.
I think most Pinot Grigios are light body.
Yeah,
I think
this
most
is
Pinots are light body except maybe Pinot Noir, but I haven't
yeah.
had
Well,
Pinot
so
Noir.
Pinot Noir ain't like no way. Well, it's not heavy though. It's not real heavy. It
A medium body.
depends on what you consider light.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it says always define how to grate along with the unique process. Yep, it don't say what it's supposed to go with. They don't care about all that. It says it's a famous wine region, combining old world wine making traditions new. It's like yeah, it's whatever. Nothing important. Uh, it sounds like a standard advertisement on the back. Nothing identifying like where the wine's from for real, or what they actually did to make it traditional or kept it traditional. Like none of that. So it's very generic. But I would smash. I would properly smash this.
Proper smash.
Proper
A
smash.
proper
You know,
smash.
very clean, very light, very quick. Nothing too long. Um, just the right speed, just the right temperature, the right environment. You know,
Okay.
that's my smosh for this one.
Smash. That's your smash.
That's my smosh for this one.
Proper smash.
Yes, it's a proper smosh. Okay. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this wonderful episode of A Little Something, the number two. Write about with your hostesses, Ty and Michelle.
And Siobhan Camille.
Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Let us know, y'all. If this one's full of culture, so this is us. We can speak. We can speak. We can speak freely. We can agree. We can disagree respectfully, of course. You don't have to agree with us. In fact, if you don't agree, just put it in the comments. We can talk about it. We like to hear your side of the story, you know, and we can agree or disagree or whatever. Power to the people. Like power. Just be sure to follow us on IG for more content and just things, you know, that we're doing and what's happening in the wine world, or just keep up with us a little bit. At AOS the number two WA. Right here on YouTube and IG every first last ish Saturday at 2 p.m. For our wine out wine tastings, you guys. We love you all, and remember, as always,
There's nothing wrong with a little wine or a
or
lot.
lot. Toodles, y'all. See y'all next week.